Welcome to Burning the Ships, Weekly Ramble, presented by 608B Capital. Y'all have heard us talk about on this podcast quite a bit, the idea of actually burning the ships on a career to pursue something in business or entrepreneurship, things like that. So today I'm gonna dive into this a good bit because I get asked from folks that are maybe where I was in their career, right? So been with a company for quite a while, and they're maybe thinking of some alternative routes or paths to take with their career, and some of that could be pursuing their own business, right? So I'll start off by saying most of the time my advice is don't just jump ship, right? Or burn the ship, if you will. Yes, I did that, but that came on the heels of several years of building something, right? Building number one, a mentality, resilience and things like that. That's, kind of one part of it. But number two, why do we work? We work to earn an income, right? We work to provide a lifestyle for either ourselves and our family, right? To have things, to be able to support those things, whatever it is that you're into. You have to work to provide the basic necessities, right? Shelter, food, things like that. If you have children, you have to provide for them the basics, right? And whatever you want above and beyond that, you have to work to earn more income to support those things. So that's why you do it. And not everybody's motivated by the money aspect of it, but you can say, like, you cannot be motivated by the money, the dollars, but you also have to be aware that it is a necessity in life. You have to have an income or money to do the things in which you need to survive, but then beyond that, the things in which you enjoy. So for me, I can still to this day, I'm not necessarily motivated by money, but I'd be lying if I said that, I don't care about money. I do care about money. I have to care about money because there's certain things in life that I am motivated to do that require a certain level of income or money to do them, right? So we'll start there. And the money side of it, when I left my career to, pursue my business full time, I didn't just do that on a whim. I didn't decide overnight that, I don't like this career anymore and I want to do something on my own. It was a very calculated and planned out decision. So probably 5 years before I actually made that move, I knew that I couldn't see myself. I would be okay in this career for the rest of my career, until I was 60 years old, but I wanted something more for myself and for my family. So I chose a path of real estate investing. So I started dabbling in it. Well, I had been dabbling in it for years, but then I started building a business around it. So I started adding rental properties into my portfolio, figuring out how to grow equity and net worth through that, and then how to grow cash flow through that. And that was 5 years of a very committed grind to that. And in doing so, I built something that allowed me the financial freedom to then make the decision to leave that career. Also, I was very frugal during that time. In the years prior to that, now I had nice things because I had the income to support it. Nice house, decent vehicles. My family and I were able to travel quite a bit because of the income that allowed me to do that, right? But I also saved very aggressively. And because of that, I built up a runway, a nest egg that was basically disposable income that would fund me taking the leap of leaving that job and pursuing something different. And if that something different didn't work out as quickly or as fast as I needed it to work out, I had this nest egg and I had this runway of money, savings that could support my lifestyle, need be, if things weren't working out on this other side. So I could map out a 4 to 5 year runway where I could comfortably still live the same standard of living my family and I were used to while trying to pursue this other thing. So the money piece of it, the finance piece of it is very important to have that mapped out. And I did. But most people that ask me, how did you have the courage to do that? Courage was a big piece of it, yes. Like at some point I have to cut off this valve of this good income that I have through my career that I've built up. But the courage was just there because of these other things I had built, right? I didn't just have the courage to one day say, I'm leaving this and I'm going to go build something else. I had already started building something else and I had that nest egg to rely on. And the third piece of it was I had a skill set, a resume that if all else fails and, 5 years goes by and I've just fallen flat on my face in this pursuit that I've done, I can go back and get a job, and it might not be a comparable income to what I was making before I left my former career, but I can go back in sales and get a pretty comfortable, 6-figure job with my resume and with my skill set. So I have that to fall back on as well. So this mentality of go all in and burn the ships, I believe in that wholeheartedly, right? And I preach it, and this podcast is all about it. But when it comes to turning something off and to go pursue something else, you got to have your ducks in a row in between there, right? And there has to be this buildup of a plan and a succession plan to move from one thing to the next. And that is what I had, right? So most people don't, when they're thinking this way, they haven't built that, right? They need to have a business, if they're going to pursue a business that can pay them day one, right? So if they leave one thing, they have to be able to go and, like a contractor. We've used this example before, but if they have a skill set and the ability to go out and do renovations on a house or do, construction type projects, well, they can start making income the next week doing that. But do they have enough of a reputation built up to build upon that and continue that income? I don't know. But if they do, then great. Then they have something that is there that they can rely on reliably to build and earn an income. Outside of that, there comes the mindset piece of it. So the mindset piece of it, in my opinion, is just as big as all the other stuff I talk about. And with mindset, it's not just having this courage and this ability to problem solve and this resilience. There's another piece of it too. And this was very important for me in my decision process and my wife. We have this ability, although we have become accustomed to a certain standard of living when it comes to, the house we live in, the traveling we do, the things we do as a family it does take money to do some of these things. We were very comfortable knowing that if need be, we don't have to have all that, right? My wife and I both grew up in a very humble financial situation, right? Me a little bit more so than her, but we don't require a lot of things and money to be happy in life, right? The money is a tool to give us those things, but we don't require them to be happy. To be happy, we just need bare minimal things. Our family, each other, love, and we can create experiences and we can travel without that much money, right? Now, the money allows us to do it a different way and go to different places, but we are very comfortable knowing that if things don't work out financially and we have to dial a lot of things back, it's okay. It is okay. It will not ruin our marriage. It will not ruin our happiness. and our perspective on life and things like that. So knowing that and having the confidence that we will be okay if we had to dial things back to a quarter of the budget we have now, we can do it. We don't want to, but we can, and we're not scared of that. So not having that fear allows us to take a little bit higher risk in what we're doing, because we know if it all fails, all the things I mentioned earlier, I've got the financial runway, I've got the skill set to go back to work if I need to. But let's say all that doesn't work out, and for a short period of time, I have to take a job that might pay me $20 an hour, right? Just to pay the bills. Well, we can cut back on everything in our lives for a short period of time, and our kids will be fine with that. We will be fine with that, and we will rebuild. Now, do I foresee that happening? Absolutely not. I mean, things are rolling along in business, and just like we had anticipated it, but if need be, that fear of having to go backwards, it's not even there for us. We'll make it. And that's the mindset piece of it. And most people don't have that ability to overcome the fear of what if the worst case scenario happens. And when they think out and map out the worst case scenario, it can breed a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, a lot of, oh, absolutely not, I couldn't handle it. And if that's where they land, then probably whether they have all the other stuff in place or not, if mentally they can't get to that place of, if everything gets taken away or goes away because of the choices I make, I'm not going to be okay. Well, if that's where they're at, they don't need to be making the decision to leave what they already have, to pursue something else, because there is that possibility that that's where it could land. And without that comfort level of knowing that you can handle that and that you're resilient enough to handle it, you're probably not a good candidate to burn the ships and pursue something else. You're probably better suited to pursue whatever career that you're in and continue working hard at that, earning your income, and doing the things you need to do to support the security that is more important than, anything else to you. So it's mindset, it's having the financial plan and the all the other things in place before you just on a whim say, I'm going to burn the ships, right? And the story of burn the ships comes from, Cortez and his men approaching an island with a ship or ships, and him, as they get off that ship, go and to take the island, right? They're going to take over this island and they're going to inhabit it. And he strikes a match to the ships because there's no plan B. Well, that sounds great. That's a great story. It's motivational, but that's not from the perspective that we come at this from, with this burning the ships mentality. It's got to be a little more calculated than that. If they hadn't have taken the island and the ships are burnt and they're gone, then they die. Like, I don't want to pursue something that ends in death for me, right? So be a little more calculated about it. You can have an all-in mindset and this mentality of there is no plan B, but it's probably a good idea to have some kind of plan B and C and things like that, and have just some type of plan of action to move forward. So that is, and I've talked about these things several times on this podcast, but I want to touch on them again as we pick up new listeners and things like that. That's what this mindset is. It is, yes, all in. Yes, be passionate about the things you're pursuing. Yes, have a no looking back, no plan B mindset. But in reality, you need to have a plan. And part of that plan is the idea of, if this thing that I'm doing doesn't work out, then what else will I do, right? So act as if there is no plan B, but you better have some kind of plan B, or you better have some type of roadmap to, if this happens, then I do this. And if this doesn't happen, then I do this. And if it all doesn't work out, I'm okay. I'm comfortable. I can rebuild and I can start over. And putting all that in place, if you can mentally get there, you have all the other things in place, then yes, you're ready to take the leap. And if you don't take the leap, then that is just you having the inability to take that last leap, right? The last hurdle to jump. You got everything in place. You're ready to do it. You're comfortable. You know you're comfortable. Then if you're not taking the leap at that point, that's on you. And I can't be the one to push you off the ledge, nor can anybody else. That's something you got to dig deep and find for yourself. So that's kind of my summary of burning the ships when it comes to burning a career, leaving a career to pursue something else. It might be to pursue another career. It doesn't have to be a business, but you have to be calculated in that pursuit of whatever it is. And with that, I will wrap up another episode of Burning the Ships Weekly Ramble, presented by 608B Capital. 608B Capital is a real estate debt fund. We offer accredited investors 8 to 12%, depending on which level they come in. They earn those returns passively, while we, the operators of the fund, take that capital and make short-term loans with that, real estate loans to fix and flippers and things of that nature. So we offer the investments to accredited investments or accredited investors, and we offer the lending products to fix and flippers. If you have any interest in any of either side of that, reach out to us. We'd be glad to talk to you more about it. And as always, please like, rate, review, share, do all the things that can help us continue to grow this podcast, and we'll be much appreciative of that. But until next time, that'll end this episode of Burning the Ships. We'll talk to you soon.